When God Says No, Understanding the Fatherhood of God, written by Roderick L. Evans, narrated by Roderick L. Evans. Preface. Believers experience disappointment and frustration while seeking God's direction and provision for their lives. Sometimes it is because God's response is unfavorable. The information presented in this book comes from my personal experiences with the Lord. There have been times when I did not receive the answer that I had expected. However, a revelation of His wisdom, grace, and love helped me to understand that He was not only my God, but my Father. This understanding helped me to stand in faith even when God said no. Roderick L. Evans. Introduction. Have you ever wanted something so much that you could almost taste or touch it? Have you ever wanted something so badly that the wait seemed like an eternity? Have you ever hoped for something greatly only to discover that you would not receive the object of your hope? The Bible is full of promises given to man by God. One of those promises is that God will give us what we ask for in prayer. However, there are times when we petition God that we do not receive the request. Some may feel hurt, disappointed, angry, and disillusioned with God. Others may feel confused, wondering why God didn't give me what I asked for. We can understand a negative response from the Lord if we are asking for carnal, selfish, and unnecessary earthly things. However, there are times when God's response is no when we ask for healing and deliverance from extremely difficult situations. In the pages of this book, we want to explore reasons why God's answer to us is not always right in our eyes. We will examine causes for the Lord denying the request of our hearts. In addition, we will learn how God's seemingly unfavorable response to us in certain requests is actually a demonstration of His love, care, and concern for us. This will lead us to a greater understanding of the fatherhood of God in the life of the believer. Chapter 1. My grace is sufficient for thee. See 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. Anyone who competes in athletics understands the importance of endurance. Endurance keeps the individual motivated even when the road to victory is rocky. Numerous athletes, through endurance, overcame the obstacles and went on to success in the competition. Christians can learn from the athlete's example. The believer faces many trials, tests, and temptations. The scriptures attest to the fact that the righteous will experience afflictions. It reads, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all." Psalm 34:19. Though the believer is consistently assured of God's provision and protection, he is not exempt from the troubles that life can bring. Therefore, the believer needs the strength and power to endure all that life brings. If the believer tries to endure and overcome on his own, he will fail. He needs the strength that can only come from God. Through the Holy Spirit, man receives access to the power of God. Because of this, Paul could encourage the believers to be strong in the Lord. It reads, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might." Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. However, to walk in the strength of the Lord, the believer needs assistance. Therefore, God offers His grace. Grace is a foundational part of the new covenant. Yet many believers do not understand grace. Therefore, a definition of grace is needed. What is grace?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?